Man, I didn't grow up like some Disney Channel dude. My childhood was war. Buffalo, New York. My dad ran a skating rink and a strip club. That's where the beatings happened. And not little spankings. Real beatings. Closed fists. Slaps that knock your fucking soul out your body. You ever been hit so hard you forget your name? That was breakfast. That was normal. My mom caught him cheating one night. She said something. And the next thing I know, he's dragging her ass by her hair down a flight of stairs. I'm 7, maybe 8. I see it happening. My heart's pounding. I should be hiding, but I jump on his back. I'm this scrawny little kid, but I don't give a shit. I'm trying to choke him out. He turns to my mom, laughing, and says, "You're raising a gangster." And then he beat the living fuck out to me. Neck to ankle, black and blue. I looked like a fucking raccoon. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't walk. My mom pulled the covers back the next morning, saw what he did to me, and went silent. That silence, that shit broke me harder than the beating. I wasn't even human to her anymore. I was a fucking problem she couldn't solve. A few days later, she walked into the kitchen and said, "I'm leaving. You can come with me or stay." That was it. I grabbed my shit and left. My brother stayed behind. We drove off with nothing, no money, no plan, just survival. Ended up in Brazil, Indiana. Whole different kind of hell. But here's the thing. Pain follows you. You can leave the house, the town, the abuser. But the damage, that shit rides shotgun. Every fucking mile, I wasn't a victim. I was just a scared little motherfucker getting taught early that nobody was coming to save me. Man, after we left my dad, I thought it was over. Like that pain shit was done. Nah. It was just changing uniforms. Different battlefield. The same war. Brazil, Indiana. Small ass racist town looked like it hadn't moved past 1950. 5 black kids in a school of 1,700. Yeah, I stood the fuck out. Not in a good way. They didn't have to hit me. Their looks hit. Their whispers hit. Notes in my locker. They go back to Africa. Nooses drawn with my name on it. These little fucking kids writing death threats like it was art class. I didn't even know how to respond. What could I say? I could barely talk. I stuttered so bad back then I sounded like I was choking on my fucking name. My hair started falling out from stress. Patches of white spots where it used to be black. I'd be in class praying to God no one called on me. Let me sit there. Let me fade out. I didn't want to be seen. I want to disappear. I'd create crazy ass haircuts, wear pants backward like crisscross just to hide in a joke. If they were laughing at the outfit, maybe they wouldn't notice how fucked up I was. My mom working 3 jobs. She didn't know how bad it was. They didn't know I was failing. Never saw a single report card. She was too busy trying to survive. She thought she was protecting me, but I was out here getting hit with invisible punches every fucking day. And I just kept swallowing it. Swallowing every racist comment, every humiliation, every fucked up moment. I was stuffing that shit so deep it started becoming part of who I was. That's how numb I got. I didn't even feel human anymore. I was just going through the motions, ghosting through life. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just took it. And taking it became normal. That's the scariest place to be. When abuse becomes your baseline. When you look around and realize you don't even recognize yourself anymore. I wasn't living, I was surviving. Man, school was hell. Home wasn't better. I'd fake being sick to skip PE because my body was too bruised up, or I was just too damn embarrassed to let anyone see me. I was hiding every part of myself. My fear, my pain, my fucking shame. But that shit doesn't go away. It stacks, it grows. Eventually it overflows. 7th grade, right before Christmas break, something happened that burned itself into my brain forever. We pulled up to the junior high in the school bus. Another kid had missed the bus, so his mom dropped him off. I watched from the back of the bus as he ran through the lot. His mom yelled that he forgot something, cookies or some shit. So he ran back to her car to grab them. All the buses start moving forward, same time. I hear this blood-curdling scream. Not like some movie scream. This was primal. Real. I looked over and saw that mom again, but she's on her knees now, pulling at her hair, losing her fucking mind. I looked down. I couldn't see clearly at first. It's little red spots on the window. I leaned down, looked under the bus. That kid's body was under the fucking tire. Head crushed flat. shoes still on. His fucking eyes were wide open. I had to go to the principal's office as a witness. I remember walking by the scene and I saw his little shoes twisted like some toy. I didn't even blink. I just locked that image in my head and buried it. A year later, almost to the day, my soon-to-be stepdad got murdered, shot, gone, just like that. No warning, no reason. Another dead man in my life. At that point, I'd seen so much death, I didn't even react. I slept on the floor for months after that. Couldn't explain it. Bed didn't feel right. Maybe I didn't think I deserved comfort. That's the fucked up part. I was still a kid, but my soul felt old as shit. Like I lived 100 lives already, each one harder than the last. I wasn't afraid of dying. I was afraid of waking up the same every fucking day. And I was tired of running, tired of lying to myself. But I didn't know how to stop. I didn't even know who I was running from anymore. My past, my future, my fucking reflection. All I knew was that I couldn't keep going like this. Something had to break. And it was going to be me or the lie I'd been living. Man, the letter came when I was a junior in high school. He said I was about to flunk out, missed 25% of my classes. And no surprise, I was hiding from everything. School, life, reality. My mom read the letter, looked at me and said, well, guess you're going to flunk. That was it. No lecture, no punishment. Just that one sentence that hit harder than any belt ever could. I walked to the bathroom, looked in the mirror, not glanced, looked, stared. For the first time, I saw what the fuck I really was. A liar, a fake, a scared, broken down piece of shit pretending to be tough with dumb haircuts and baggy clothes. They trying to be the funny guy, so no one saw the failure underneath. That was the moment I created the accountability mirror. I stopped lying to myself, started writing sticky notes, taping them to the glass. You're dumb as fuck. You're failing. Or you're fat. No one's coming to save you. People would have called that bullying if someone else said it. But it was me talking to me. And I needed it. I needed the truth. My mom thought I was losing it. I thought I was going crazy. But the truth was I was waking the fuck up for the first time in my life. I saw the mess I was in and decided to stop pretending it wasn't my fault. I asked her for a tutor. We were broke, but she found one. $15 a week. 4 hours a month. That's all I had to fix a fourth grade reading level. I was 17 years old, reading like a fucking child. But the tutor told me something that changed everything. You'll have to write everything 1,000 times just to remember it. I took that literally. I bought spiral notebooks and started writing shit over and over and over. Math problems, paragraphs, vocabulary. I'd fill up notebook after notebook. I didn't give a fuck how long it took. That mirror told me I was a loser. I wasn't gonna let it be right forever. That mirror became my coach, my drill sergeant, and my enemy, my therapist. It didn't hand out trophies. It didn't sugarcoat shit. Every morning I stood in front of it and took my beating. Every night I earned back a little piece of who the fuck I wanted to be. I didn't change overnight. But that mirror, that was the first motherfucker who ever told me the truth. Man, after the Air Force kicked me out of pararescue training because of sickle cell, I was relieved. I didn't want to admit it, but I was happy. They handed me an excuse and I fucking took it. Clinical reasons. That sounded so much better than I quit. But deep down, I knew I ran, I lied. I got soft and walked out the fucking door. I ended up in TAC P. It was a good job. Real shit. Calling an airstrike, supporting troops. But I didn't give a fuck. My brain was still stuck in pararescue in the pool, drowning in my own fear. I looked around and saw warriors. I felt like a fraud. Over the next few years, I let go. I stopped trying. I got out of the military with nothing. Nothing. No plan, no drive, no damn clue what to do. I started spraying for cockroaches for a living. No shame in work, but I was making $1,000 a month and paying $810 in rent. I was broke, tired, and fat as fuck, 297 pounds. I stopped looking in the mirror. I didn't want to see that piece of shit staring back at me. I'd wake up at night drenched in sweat, pissed off at myself. And my demons never left. They just got louder. My routine. Wake up, crushed cinnamon rolls. 8 of them, not the little pack. Eggs, bacon, 2 bowls of sugary cereal. Then I'd hit steak and shake on the night shift and suck down chocolate shakes. Drive home, eat powdered donuts like fucking Tic Tacs. And that wasn't even breakfast. That was the warm up. Every night I told myself tomorrow I'll change. And every morning I proved myself wrong. I didn't need enemies. I was doing the job better than anyone else could. I was my own executioner. Then one night I walked into the house and caught a glimpse of myself in the TV reflection. My gut hanging over my belt, my eyes empty. That wasn't a man. That was a fucking ghost. I remember the accountability mirror. That son of a bitch was waiting for me. Covered in dust, taped up notes peeling off. I stood in front of it again. Looked myself in the eyes. And I told the truth. You're a fat, lazy motherfucker who quit on his dreams. And then I did something I hadn't done in years. I wrote a new note. You will fix this. Or die trying. Man, one night I got home from spraying roaches, still wearing that Ecolab uniform, still reeking of chemicals and regret, and I flipped on the TV. Nothing special, just background noise while I showered. Then I heard it. Cold waves, screaming instructors yelling. I walked out of the bathroom, towel around my waist, and saw a Navy SEAL documentary on the screen. Something clicked. Those motherfuckers were in Hell Week, getting punished, freezing their asses off, jackhammering in the surf. And for the first time in years, I felt something. It wasn't fear. It was fire. That shit looked miserable as hell. It looked like death. And I wanted it. I watched them suffer. I watched the class shrink down from 100-something to 22. Most quit. Some got hurt. But a few stayed. And a few motherfuckers took that beating and came back for more. And I wasn't watching the ones who made it. I was watching the ones who quit. That look in their eyes when they gave up. I knew that look. That was me. When I left Rescue, my commander looked at me and knew I was done. He gave me the medical out, but he knew the truth. I quit. He saw it in my eyes, the same way I saw it in those guys on TV. That night, I made a decision. I was going to be a Navy SEAL. Fat, broke, dumb. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. But I knew I wasn't staying where I was. I wasn't dying in that uniform with a can of Raid in my hand. I started calling recruiters the next day. Most of them laughed. I was 297 pounds with a high school transcript that looked like toilet paper. One guy told me straight up, you need to lose over 100 pounds in 3 months just to qualify. I said, bet. That was the switch. No more donuts and no more fucking excuses. I didn't just want it. I needed it. Like oxygen, like blood. I needed something that would break me so I could rebuild. Becoming a SEAL wasn't about the uniform or the trident. It was about revenge, revenge against the old me. Revenge against the fat fuck I saw in the mirror. Revenge against every piece of shit that said I'd never be anything but broken. That night, I made a promise to myself. I will become the hardest motherfucker alive, or I'll die trying. Man, I got into the SEAL pipeline once. First time I trained, I was killing it on paper. Scored high on the ASVAB, about a shot at the Air Force Rescue before. So I thought, fuck it. I'm ready now. Except I wasn't, and not mentally, not spiritually. And that shit matters more than anything. The first few weeks I was all in, pushing through water confidence drills, barely making it, but surviving. And then came the medical check. They said I had sickle cell, that I was at risk of stroke, heart failure, sudden death under extreme stress. And I thought, perfect, not oh fuck, but perfect. That was my out. I didn't say no, let me fight. I didn't say fuck it, I'm staying. I nodded and walked the fuck out like a coward. Because that's what I was. A scared motherfucker looking for an excuse. The same kind of dude I always said I'd never be. They told me to come back later after more testing, maybe rejoin, but I wasn't planning on going back. I wanted to say I was pulled out for medical reasons. It sounds noble, right? Not I quit, not I folded. It's just doctor's orders. Bull fucking shit. That was a lie I wrapped around my pride. You know how I knew it was a lie? Because after I got pulled, I stood on the edge of the pool while my class kept going. I watched them suffer, watched them panic. Watch the ones who had more balls than me keep swimming when they couldn't breathe. And I wasn't in there with them. I was outside the fight, comfortable, safe, watching. And that shit ate me alive. I kept trying to tell myself I didn't quit, and I was forced out. But inside, I fucking knew I quit. I chose easy. When they offered to put me back in, I froze. I was this close. All I had to do was say yes, but I couldn't. My commander even asked me straight up, "You want back in?" I said, "No, I used sickle cell again as the reason." Talked about heart attacks, death, whatever sounded legit. I lied to a man's face because I didn't want to go through hell again. And I left. People think I'm this savage, this unbreakable motherfucker. But I started out soft, scared. I ran from the fight. I dressed it up, but it was still a damn quit. That moment never left me. And I promised myself the next time life gave me a door out, I'd fucking slam it shut and stay in the fire. Man, when I finally got back into SEAL training, it wasn't some badass moment with a trumpet playing in the background. I wasn't ready. My body was already breaking down. I had stress fractures, busted up shins, and then pneumonia. The first hell week, I didn't make it. Got rolled. Straight back to day one, week one. Not phase two. Not a retest. The whole fucking thing over again. That shit hurt. Watching my class move on without me. Or watching them get through what I couldn't. That kind of pain don't just sting. It rots. But I stayed, waited for the next round. The second attempt, I made it further. Through the beatings, through the cold, through the sand and surf torture. But near the end of Hell Week, my kneecap cracked. It straight up broke. And I still kept going. I was limping like a one-legged pirate. But I wasn't about to quit. Not again. Not after that first embarrassment. But SEAL training don't give a fuck about your pride. I couldn't pass the knot tying test. I had to tread water. Broken knee. Stress fractures flaring like fire. My body was done. And the instructors saw it. They pulled me again. Rolled. Again. That shit nearly killed me mentally. I'd already been through Hell Week. I'd already suffered. But I wasn't good enough. And they were right. I couldn't tie knots with one working leg. I couldn't even float right. I'm negatively buoyant. Like a fucking rock in water. When they told me I had one last shot, it was clear. Heal or you're out for good. No one gets 3 Hell Weeks. Not unless someone makes a special call. And someone did. So I duct taped my legs. Illy. I wrapped my shins in black socks, taped them tight every morning at 4 a.m. before training. Created a pressure cast to hold my fucked up bones in place. The first 45 minutes of every run. Pure pain. Fire. But then like magic, my legs would go numb. I didn't feel shit after that. That's what saved me. I trained that way for weeks with open wounds from the tape digging in, pus, blood, skin rubbed raw. But I didn't stop because I knew what was waiting if I did. Hell Week number 3 came. Coldest one yet. Guys dropping like flies. One man died from pulmonary edema and me. My legs ballooned up by Monday night. Normally that happens by Wednesday. My body remembered the pain and said, "Fuck you, we're not doing this again." But I made it. I dragged my busted body to the finish line, not because I was strong, but because I was too sick of quitting. And I'd rather crawl to my death than go home with regret again. Man, you don't really understand pain until you go through Hell Week. Not once, not twice, 3 fucking times. Most guys barely survive one. I got my ass rolled back again and again and again. Stress fractures, pneumonia, a damn broken kneecap. My body was wrecked, but I kept showing the fuck up. First time I got hit with pneumonia and fractured legs. Game over. I didn't even get to finish. They rolled me back before I got to prove shit. I was pissed, but I told myself, all right, next time. The second time, I made it through most of it. But I broke my fucking kneecap. Didn't tell anyone. You think I was going to risk getting rolled a second time because of some pain? Hell no, I limped through with my kneecap sliding in and out like a loose hinge. By the end, my leg looked like a damn basketball. But there's one thing you can't hide in SEAL training. Injury. They saw it. They scanned it. They told me straight up, "You're done." Except one guy. An officer who saw something in me. Went around the system. Bent the rules. Gave me one more shot. One last fucking chance. January. Freezing ass water. The 3rd Hell Week. And that shit almost killed me. On the second night, my body swelled up. Ankles, knees, hands, everything. I looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And we still had days left. I couldn't walk right. Couldn't even lace my boots without screaming inside. But I kept moving. One guy died that week. Cold took him out. The instructors were pissed. Cut Hell Week short by 30 hours. But by that point, I was already broken. And my legs were fire, my bones screaming. Every step felt like I was walking on knives. But I finished. And I didn't just get through Hell Week. I earned that shit. The pain, the cold, the humiliation, the doubt. That was the price of admission. And I fucking paid it in full. You don't get tough by doing things once. You get tough by bleeding over and over and still showing up. That's what 3 Hell Weeks taught me. It wasn't about being strong. It was about refusing to fucking die. And that's why I got the trident. Not because I was the best, because I was the last one standing. Man, people always ask me, how the fuck did you do it? Goggins. How did you go from 297 pounds spraying cockroaches to becoming a Navy SEAL? And I tell them the same thing every time. In the 40% rule. Most people quit at 40% of their potential. 40 motherfucking percent. That means when you think you're done, when your body's screaming, when your mind's begging you to stop, you still got over half a tank left. But only if you're willing to suffer. That rule saved my life. When I was running on broken legs during Hell Week, every cell in my body said quit. When I wrapped my shins in duct tape and limped through workouts, I wanted to tap out. But I knew I'd been there before, that mental place. And I also knew I'd given into it before. I quit Perescue. I quit in that fucking pool. I knew what it felt like to back down from pain, and I hated that version of me. I hated him so much, I had no choice but to keep going. Pain is where you find out who you are. That 40%. That's your body trying to protect itself. That's your brain saying, let's stop now before shit gets too real. But that's when you're finally getting close to growth, close to the edge where change happens. And most people will never touch that space in their entire lives because the moment it hurts, they run. They reach for the TV remote, the donut, the excuse. Me, I lean into that shit. I get excited. When it starts to suck, that's when I know I'm getting better. That's when the demons start screaming. And that's when I go quiet and fucking smile. It's like a car with a governor. Most people hit 92 miles per hour and think that's it. They think they're maxed out. But the real ones, we tear the fucking governor off. No limiter and no safe speed. We bury the needle and keep going till something explodes. And even then, we find a way to crawl forward. That's what I did. Over and over. Broken legs, sleepless nights, vomiting during runs, pissing blood after races. I kept going because I knew I wasn't anywhere near empty. The day I understood that my mind was the real enemy, not my body, not the cold, not the pain, I became unstoppable. Most people will never reach that level because they quit at 40%. I live in the other 60. Man, you don't get strong by avoiding pain. You don't get wise from comfort. You don't build grit watching motivational videos and liking quotes on Instagram. You get it by walking through fire with no backup plan. That's the shit people don't want to hear. We live in a world that worships easy. Soft-ass society handing out trophies for showing up, telling you to be kind to yourself, to rest, to treat yourself. Fuck that. You know what I treated myself to? Blisters, shin splints, blood in my socks, vomit in my throat. I didn't want relief. I wanted results. Pain is the currency you pay to level the fuck up. Every major moment in my life came through pain. Not some aha moment sitting cross-legged on a yoga mat. No, it was my legs wrapped in duct tape, bleeding, swollen, every tendon on fire, and still running. That was growth. That was clarity. You don't find peace in quiet. You find peace in suffering. Because when everything hurts, when your body's breaking and your mind's trying to sell you on quitting, and you still keep fucking going, that's when you realize you got power most people never tap into. That's when you meet the real you. But you've got to go get it. Ain't no cheat code. You think I love running 100 miles without training, kissing brown shit myself, cramping so bad I couldn't stand. No, but I loved who I became in that race. I loved knowing I went to the edge of death and didn't blink. People say I'm crazy, that I take it too far. But the truth is, I take it far enough. I take it where the weak version of me dies. And I come back stronger, sharper, harder every time. The world tells you to avoid suffering, but suffering is the only thing that ever taught me a damn thing. It showed me what I could handle, what I was made of, and more importantly, what I wasn't going to be anymore. A quitter, a liar, a soft-ass excuse machine blaming the world for my fuck-ups. I walked through hell so I could stop being a prisoner in my own skin. You want to change. Get comfortable with pain. Get real fucking cozy with it, because that's where the transformation lives. And that 100-mile race broke me. Not metaphorically. Literally. No training, no prep, just ego and guts. I showed up looking like a jacked up bodybuilder, thinking my muscles were going to save me. Shit, I didn't even bring real food. Just Ritz crackers and Myoplex shakes like I was heading to a fucking picnic. 50 miles in, my body was already shutting down. Knees swollen, feet blistered to hell. I sat down at mile 70 and everything fell the fuck apart. Hissing blood down my leg. My organs felt like they were turning inside out. I was shaking, cramping, fucked. I thought, this is it. I'm done. But I didn't say it. I didn't quit. I gave myself a minute. That's the secret. You're gonna give your mind some fucking space. Let it panic. Let it cry. But don't obey it. Don't let it drive. I sat there and remembered the accountability mirror. I remembered every mile I'd run with broken legs. Every voice that said I'd never be shit. And I said, you might quit, Goggins, but not yet. That became my line. And not yet. I started moving again. Limping, shuffling. Every step hurt like a motherfucker. But I kept going. 81 miles in, I knew I wouldn't make the time limit unless I picked it up. And I don't know what the fuck happened, but something switched. My mind and body synced. And I became a fucking machine. I ran the last 20 miles like I was possessed. I finished in 19 hours and 6 minutes. 100 miles, broken feet. Shit in my pants. Blood in my shoes. And I crossed that line with nothing left. After the race, I got in the tub. My girl turned the shower on and hot water hit my body. And what came out of me wasn't blood. It was black. Fucking dirt. Like death leaking out of my pores. I should have gone to the hospital. My mom called a doctor. Everyone was freaking out. But I stayed in that tub and sat there and soaked in the pain, because that pain was proof. That pain was my fucking truth. It was everything I had denied, everything I had run from, all finally screaming at me. You did it. You ain't the lie anymore. No more pretending, no more fake motivation. That moment made me. Not the finish line, the pain. Because when the suffering ends and you're still standing, there's only one thing left. The truth. The truth. Man, after that 100-mile race, something changed. I realized the body is a liar. A soft, whining, excuse-making little bitch. That motherfucker taps out way before you're done. My legs were shattered, feet torn up, body cramping like it was dying. But I kept going. And I came out the other side still breathing, still swinging. That's when I knew I could run on broken legs, literally. When I was going through SEAL training, my stress fractures were so bad I couldn't even put pressure on my feet without feeling like my bones were splintering. What'd I do? I wrapped those bitches in duct tape, taped over black socks to create a fake cast. It hurt like hell. The pressure points tore open my skin. I bled through my boots. Every fucking step was a gamble, but I kept moving. First 45 minutes of every run were the worst. My legs would be screaming, begging to stop. After that, they'd go numb. I didn't care if they were numb from pain or permanent damage. I just knew they stopped screaming loud enough for me to move. People say, you're going to fuck yourself up for life, maybe. But I already felt dead inside. What was one more layer of damage? The truth is, I ran on those legs until the pain became part of the process. It wasn't something I feared anymore. It became a familiar voice. Not an enemy. Just another part of me saying, let's go. And here's the crazy shit. By the time I reached the third phase of SEAL training, I stopped needing the tape. My body adapted. My legs healed. The brakes closed up. No more fractures, no more pain. Like my body finally caught up to the savage mindset I forced it into. That's the part people don't get. You can run on broken legs. You can fight with a broken heart. You can move forward when everything in you says stop. You just have to shut the fuck up and keep going. I don't recommend it to everyone. This path ain't safe. It ain't healthy. It ain't balanced, but it's real. It's raw. And it works. I didn't run to win. I ran to prove the old version of me was gone. I ran to bury the fat, weak, quitting ass coward I used to be. I ran on broken legs to build an unbreakable mind. Man, at mile 70 of that first 100-mile race, I sat in a folding chair covered in piss, blood, and my own shit. My feet looked like raw meat. I was pissing brown. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe right. I wasn't a runner. I wasn't even a real athlete. I was just a guy with unfinished business and a fuck you attitude. My body shut down, but I didn't. I tapped into something I call the cookie jar. The cookie jar is every fucked up thing I ever overcame. Every demon I fought. Every voice that told me I wasn't shit. And every time I proved it wrong. It was every mile I ran on broken legs, every beat down I took, every night I slept on the floor, every time I was called dumb, slow, useless. That's where I went, right back into that hell. And I pulled out strength. People don't get it. They think motivation is a playlist and a fucking protein shake. Nah. Motivation dies when your feet break down and you're coughing blood. You need real ammo. You need that darkness. And I kept mine loaded. So I got up, moved, limped, shuffled, hurt like fuck. But I started stacking miles again, got to 81, then 90. Then I looked at my watch and realized I was behind. I'd never make the cutoff at this pace. And something clicked. I became a cyborg. I ran the final 20 miles faster than the first 20. Like I was being hunted. Like every ghost from my past was on my heels. I crossed that finish line at 19 hours and 6 minutes. Destroyed, but victorious. In came the tub. My girl put me in the bath. Hot water hit my skin and it wasn't blood that came out. It was black. Dark brown sludge oozed from my pores. I was convulsing. I looked like death and I felt worse. My mom called a top doctor. He said, I need an AR like now. I said, fuck, no. I laid there, fetal position, shaking, broken, and smiling. That pain was mine. It was honest. It was proof. You can't fake that kind of damage. I earned every inch of it, every mile, every fucking blister and bruise. That's the difference between me and everyone else. I don't avoid the pain. I collect it. I hoard it. I turn into strength. The cookie jar saved me that day. And now I keep that motherfucker full. Look, man, there's a version of me people talk about. The hard motherfucker, the savage, the SEAL, the guy who runs 100 miles with broken feet. That guy didn't just happen. I built him piece by piece. Out of pain, out of shame, out of fucking lies. That version of me, Goggins. That's the truth. Everything before that. Bullshit. David Goggins was created by my father. Weak, afraid, beaten into submission. But Goggins was forged in pain, built by suffering. He was the one who taped up his legs, who looked at death and said, not yet. The one who stood in front of the mirror and didn't lie to himself. The one who chose war over peace every damn time. People think I created Goggins to inspire others. Nah. I created him to save my own damn life. That's what nobody understands. This wasn't about social media. It wasn't about fame. It wasn't about books. I didn't write Can't Hurt Me to go viral. I wrote it to put my demons on paper so they stopped screaming in my fucking head. The more people read that book, the more they thought I was some hero, a role model. But inside, I was still chasing that feeling, that truth. And somewhere along the way, I lost it. Speaking gigs, cameras, fucking podcasts, people asking for motivation when I hadn't even seen the mirror in days. I started getting soft. I started listening to the noise. And that's when the depression hit. Because the minute I stopped living the shit I talked about, I felt it. That old weakness, that liar creeping back in, whispering, comfortable, familiar. So I went back to the dungeon, back to the pain, back to 100-mile weeks. And no cameras, no applause. Just silence and sweat. But Goggins isn't a product. Goggins is a lifestyle, a decision. A promise to never be that scared little boy again. People think I live without peace. I don't. My peace lives in war. Every run, every pull up, every sleepless night grinding my bones into dust. That's where I find the truth. Not in luxury, not in rest, but in the pain that carved the real me out of the mess I was. I didn't want to be a story. I wanted to be a fucking standard. And the only way to do that is to live it every single day. Man, I didn't just run from pain. I used to hide from the motherfucker. I'd bury it deep, pretend it wasn't there, put a smile on, act tough, lie to everyone around me. And worse, lie to myself. But pain's got a long memory. That bitch doesn't forget, and it will wait. It will stalk you. And when your guard's down, when you think you've escaped, it'll slap you in the face and say, remember me, motherfucker. So I stopped hiding. I started dragging every dark piece of me out into the open, not just for show, not for sympathy, but because I knew I couldn't be what I wouldn't face. People don't get it. They think healing means lighting candles and journaling about gratitude. Nah, healing, real healing is war. It's bloody, it's loud. It's dragging the ugliest parts of yourself into the light, putting them in a chokehold and saying, you don't fucking own me anymore. I had to face the coward who quit Perescue, the fat motherfucker who made excuses and blamed everyone else, the scared little boy who let his dad break him. I had to bring those demons to the front of the line and fight them one by one. And I did it through suffering. You can't hide when your lungs are burning, your feet are bleeding, and there's no one around to clap for you. That's when the real voices show up. The ones that tell you you're not shit, and the ones that want you to quit. That's when your old self tries to crawl back in. But now, I drag that version of me into the light every day and make him fucking watch what I've become. People want peace, but they don't want the fight that comes before it. They want strength, but not the pain that forges it. I don't want to be remembered for what I did. I want to be remembered for what I overcame, for the demons I destroyed, for the lies I turned into truth. That's what my life is now. Waking up every day and going to war with the man I used to be. I don't hate him, but I'll never let him take over again. Man, people laugh when I tell them I watched the 14th round of Rocky over 20,000 times. They think I'm exaggerating. I'm not. That 2-minute scene, that shit raised me. Rocky's not about boxing. It's about getting your ass beat and standing the fuck back up when no one thinks you can. That scene where Rocky's on the mat, one eye shut, ribs smashed, Mickey yelling, stay down, and Rocky hauls himself up anyway. That became my religion. Apollo throws his hands up like it's over, turns around, and then sees Rocky getting back up. And you see it. That look on his face, like, what the fuck is this dude made of? That's all I ever wanted. That look. I didn't want applause. I didn't want cheers. I wanted people who wrote me off to watch me get up again and again and again until they were just fucking tired of it. I played Going the Distance on repeat for 17 hours straight when I broke the pull-up record. Over 4,000 pull-ups, failing the record multiple times before. My crew was losing their minds hearing that same track, but I didn't give a fuck. I needed that sound. I needed Rocky in my ear saying, keep moving. See, Rocky's not just some movie character. He's every poor kid, every abused soul, every outcast that refused to lay down. He was me. He got the shit kicked out of him and he still stood up. People put others on pedestals. Oh, that guy's gifted. That guy's different. Nah. You're just afraid of pain. You don't want to know what it feels like to fight for every inch. But I do. That's why I train like I'm still broke. That's why I live like I'm still the fat motherfucker eating donuts and lying to himself. Because I know that guy's still inside me. And if I don't beat his ass every day, he'll come back. So yeah, Rocky means everything to me. Because life isn't about winning. It's about refusing to fucking quit. It's about standing up when no one believes in you. Not even yourself. And making the world look at you and say, damn, he's still coming. Man, people look at me now and think I made it. Goggins, the legend. The ultra runner, the pull-up record guy. The seal, the speaker, the book. The followers, the applause. All that noise. And you know what I say to that? Fuck it. None of that means a damn thing to me. I don't give a shit about fame. I don't give a shit about praise. I'm not doing this for the spotlight. That's not what built me. That's not what saved me. Pain built me. Suffering rebuilt me. That lonely grind when no one's watching. That's where Goggins was born. And that's where he still lives. Every time people start clapping, I go back to the dark. I run toward discomfort. I take off the mask and remind myself, you're still that motherfucker who slept on the floor, who quit, who lied, who got fat, or who hated himself. And I run from him like he's chasing me with a blade. I don't train for records. I train for war. I train because I'm still scared of being that weak piece of shit I used to be. And the only way to stay ahead of him is to suffer, take the grind, to bleed, to do what nobody else wants to do. People want to talk about success like it's a fucking destination. You made it, Goggins. Nah, bitch. I'm just getting started. Success is not some mountaintop. It's the weight you carry every day to keep from sliding back down. You stop moving, you die, you rest too long. That weak motherfucker from your past catches up and drags your ass down into mediocrity. I don't want to win. I want to go the distance. That's it. That's the mindset. I don't give a fuck if I'm first place or last. If I cross that line, it means I never quit. It means I didn't let comfort win. It means I stayed in the fight when everything in me screamed to stop. If you're chasing comfort, you're already dead. If you're chasing fame, you've already lost. The real reward is knowing that when life tried to break you, when the world told you to sit down, when your mind begged you to stop, you stood the fuck up and said, let's go. That's the only victory that matters. Stay hard.